Welcome everybody to another edition of the Hurry Up. I'm your host of Don Juan Sports, Adam. Now let's get into it. Yeah, I missed week six, my week six picks. You guys missed that show, but we got a good show for you today. We got a couple questions, and we also have a couple things that have happened. Obviously, in the NFL world, trade deadline happened at 4 o'clock, so we got a couple of trades that we're gonna talk about right now. Before we do that, I have a question for one of my fans. He says, how does Victor Cruz affect the New York Giants? How is he going to be better than Manningham? Right now, he's better than what the Giants would have had in Steve Smith because he's on the field. Is he better than Manningham? His ball skills, to answer your question, Rich, are better than Manningham's only for the fact that he knows how to locate the ball better, pinpoint where the ball is coming, and go up and get it at its highest point. The guy is 6 feet and has a 42-inch vertical, which is pretty good. And he's also pretty stocky, which is also pretty good for a receiver, a possession receiver, or a dynamic player like this. You're starting to see these type of players come into the league now. Like we were saying before, last week's show, we were talking about the 6'5" receivers and having them come into the league. Now we also have these guys who are tweeners who are in between both the 6 footers and the 5'11" guys, and the Anquan Boldens. Those guys are starting to make a comeback. They really are. So to answer your question, Rich, yes, he's better than Manningham in terms of route running. In terms of explosiveness, we don't know yet. Manningham has developed and has had a little more time in the system. Um, Manningham did play well last year. He's struggling now, but what's going to happen now is you're going to start to see the Giants' offense open up more with Jake Ballard in the game and him making catches, Victor Cruz making catches, um, Manningham and Nix making catches. We have five guys making catches. When they do get a guy like Ramses Barden back, and now you throw him out in the mix, and all of a sudden, and then they did make a pass to Jernigan, the rookie, so he means he's getting a little playing time. So now you throw all these guys that I just mentioned out there, and there's a matchup problem for the defense, and then you throw in Travis Beckham. So this is going to be, I think, the Giants' run game is going to now start opening up. They're going to go five wide and open it up that way. You're going to see a lot more like that and start passing it out like that. Another question I got was, how come the Giants don't run the spread more? Well, the Giants are more dynamic with their. They like to run the football, so they will never do the spread. They don't want to do the spread, even though they've had success in the past. They don't want to do the spread. So it's really up to the coaches and basically the terminology. But that hurry up pace helps when it's least expected. Like if you went in on your first two drives and you know the pound didn't work on your next drive, go with the run, or do hurry up and your regular offense. Mix it into both. That'd be a great thing. You run hurry up 3 plays, you slow it down. Now they think you're gonna do you're gonna do your cadence. You go on two instead of one. So there's a lot of things that can happen, but creativity is one of them in the NFL that you need. So let's get into it. Right now, the trade deadline. Ronnie Brown. Before we get to the big guy, we'll go. Ronnie Brown went to the Detroit Lions, which is a good move for them because they lost Javad Best and he has a couple of concussions, so we don't know what's going to happen. But he can tote the mail, and that's what they need really right now is a pounder in there. And they lost Jerome Harrison, which they gave him to the Eagles, which he's going to be the Eagles pounder, but the Eagles like Deion Lewis and Sean McCoy. I think it's a fair deal for both parts. But let's talk about the King's ransom that was given up for Carson Palmer. Two potential picks, first and a second rounder. The second rounder could be accelerated to a first rounder if the Raiders make the playoffs. Now, take a look at this. You go from Jason Campbell to Carson Palmer. Now, I'm not saying that's not necessarily an immediate upgrade, but you got a quarterback who still has some good years left in him, whose body has healed from basically everything he's done the past year. So basically, all we have to do now is you just got to acclimate him in the offense, and the Raiders looking at Kyle Bowler. Sorry, Kyle Bowler. Surprised he's still in the league. Personally, couldn't make it with the Ravens. It's just a backup. That's what he's there for. I think Carson Palmer will need a couple weeks to get acclimated into the system. We'll see. I don't know if they're going to throw him out there right away. If they have a bye week, that's a great time to acclimate him. You give him the playbook, he'll sign, he can get it. and I'm sure he'll know the terminology. He might be a little slower. This may pay big dividends for them next year, but they want to keep their team and their momentum going. What does it mean for Jason Campbell? Well, you have two options. You can either trade him, sign him as a backup, or you can go somewhere else. There's going to be a lot of quarterback carousel this offseason. You got guys like David Garrard who are going to be out there, Jason Campbell, Vince Young. It's going to be three quarterbacks out there who have legitimate starting potential out there on the market this offseason. So it looks like it's going to be fun. As for the Raiders, what do? Who knows, man? Go with it. Just go with it. Put this guy in here. You've got a legit quarterback, like a guy in his prime, not a washed-up Kerry Collins, not a Jason Campbell who's kind of a game manager. You got a guy. We'll see if Carson Palmer still has the arm strength to really get the ball downfield and have some zip. But this looks like a good move on both parts. They gave up a lot. And the Raiders don't. The Raiders are going to start building their team through free agency. And see a lot of that because their drafts are basically wiped out. They have no drafts left. You're going to see them start building their team through free agency. You're really going to see how smart Hugh Jackson is, or whomever is running that organization. You're really going to see how smart they are, because this is where right now you start to lay the foundation of your team. You have a lot of young guys on your team. You have some veterans mixed in there. You want to get younger. You're going to take your drafted guys, and now you're going to be selected when you get your drafted guys. Also, don't think the Raiders are quite out of the trade market yet. They could get back into the trade market in the draft or trade some of their players. So this has been an edition of the Hurry Up. Yeah, we went over the Carson Palmer deal. Biggest deal to happen. We're going to be back for Week 7. My bye week was last week. We'll be back for Week 7 with your picks and your questions. We're going to get them answered. World Series starts tomorrow. Be ready. Who you picking? I am going with those. That's right. Be ready. Are you ready for this? Going with the St. Louis Cardinals. Just because I like Albert Pujols. And they're a steady franchise, and they have experience being there before, as do the Rangers, but we'll see what happens. Cardinals in 6.